Good morning, everyone. So today we are discussing about functions, remaining part of function. So we have already covered functions like power function, sine, cos, etc. And it is very simple how to create a function. Now come to maths library function. This is standard library function provided by C compiler. Math library function performs common mathematical calculation like power and some other things like a square root. All the mathematical computations can be done with the help of this library math.h. You need to include math.h. And what is the format for calling function? So this is function name and followed by argument. Suppose you want to calculate the square root of any number, then sqrt and followed by that number, and it will automatically give you the square root. This calls function is square root, which returns the square root of its argument. All mathematical functions returns data type double. Okay, so double precision is there. Argument may be constant like 900, variable like x, and expression like power x comma power x comma 2. So this is one expression. Another expression is x comma x plus y. So whatever written in terms of expression is known as expression. So you can pass the expression inside any function. This is the explanation of function, how it will be called. Okay, like power 2 comma 5. So this function will search for whether the power is exist or not. If it goes to that function power and it takes the argument correspondingly. So the x of x will be 2 and value of n will be 5. Now initially, because we need to multiply some terms, so that's why the product is initialized as 1, and initially we start with I equals to 1 up to n, because we are calculating the power up to n and I plus plus. So these are the iteration 1 2 3 4 5. Initially, what will be the value of product? It is 1. And what is the value of x? So 1 multiplied by x, then whatever result is coming, result multiplied by x, result multiplied by x, result multiplied by x, result multiplied by x. It will happen 5 times and it will automatically give 2 to the power 5 as 32. This is our result. Okay, so this is intended. Now come to functions. Benefit of function, it modularize a program like sine series function. We have already seen it is modularized in terms of power, factorial, and sine. All variables declared inside functions are local to that particular function, and it is only known to that function. Parameters communicate the information. So these are the parameters like integer x, integer y. This is used to communicate the information to that function. Okay, and this is, if we are going ahead as object-oriented programming, then this is also known as message passing. Now come to next thing. All variable declared inside functions are local variable and known only to function definition. Parameters, this communicate the information between functions, and this acts like, these parameters act like local variable to this particular function. So what are the benefit? Divide and conquer. This is very important strategy in 5th or 4th semester. The students of computer science and IT will read a subject known as design and analysis of algorithm. There it will come, this term will come. So design and conquer means we divide the algorithm into small pieces and we accumulate the result uh, as a one. So this is known as divide and conquer. Then software usability. So here you have developed the functions, and in previous slide you have seen that we have used a square root function. So a square root function is defined once and it can be used whenever it is required. Okay, so this is the important thing. Now come to software usability. So software reusability means use existing function as a building block for new programs, and abstraction hide internal details means whatever function is there, we just need to call a square root and we don't know what is inside that, what is the definition of a square root, and it will give you a result. Then it avoids the code also. So many times you need to write a for loop and factorial functions and for functions and different functions. So better to use once Like if you want to enter the name of any student, you can create a function by enter name, enter date of birth, etc., etc. So these are the functions. So how do you define the function? So function can be defined by this function definition format. This is your return type. Like here, long is the return type followed by function name. So name of function is power, and the parameters are integer x and integer n. So these are also known as arguments, also parameters, and all these values are comma separated list. Okay, it is not semicolon separated. Whatever we are passing inside that parenthesis, these are the parameters or message, and this is the name of function, and this whole block which is embedded in this curly brace is known as block, okay, or function declaration. And all these variables like x and prod, these all are local to function. So function name, any valid identifier, okay, whatever the rule for identifier, return value type. So it may be, if it is void, then it is not required to return anything. If it is long, then you need to return long type of value. So this is long value. That's why it is written here. Okay. So return value type, data type of the result and default is integer. Whenever we are writing a function, it will start from integer main or integer sum, integer something, in whatever like this. Okay. So this is integer function. Okay. And the parameter 1, parameter 2 separated by comma, followed by the definition, and it will return any integer value, any integer value. Normally it is 0. Okay, so this is the function style. Parameter list is comma separated list declares the parameter. A type must be listed explicitly for each parameter unless the parameter is of type integer. So here we have come to function definition. So we cannot define the function inside a function. Means we are not able to define this function inside this function. So function definition format is very simple. We have already discussed in previous slide. Return value type, function name, parameter list, and then declaration and statements are there. Declaration statement, function body block, and variables can be declared inside blocks, can be nested. So many blocks can be there, and function cannot be defined inside other function. Like this function cannot be defined inside this function. Returning control, if you want to return nothing, then just write return and semicolon or until reaches the right brace. Okay, if you are not writing this, it will automatically check for this right brace. And if something is written, then what you want to return, you need to write. Like in integer sum, this is a function. Integer a and integer b are the argument, and it will return the value a plus b. And it is not necessary to declare integer, float, etc. because this is a simple function, and this will return the value whatever passed by the user to the function. Now come to a program which calculates. I think this function we have already discussed or not discussed. Anyone? Discussed. Okay. So function prototype already discussed. This means calling function, call by value and call by reference. So this is very important thing. And this time we are using call by value only. Call by reference will we will discuss this after introduction of pointers. Okay, because this time you don't know how to operate with pointer. So that's why we are not using this. And using this call by reference, you can directly modify the variable, whatever passed in main program. But here in call by value, the synonymous values are there. Like if you are passing 5 and 6, so a equals to 5 and b equals to 6. So the similar kind of values will be means exact same copy of the values will be there in this function. So this time we will focus on call by value. No problem. Now come to random number generation. Random number generation is a function, and it is coming under standard library. It is not coming under math.h library. So it returns any random numbers. Okay. So like random max, at least 32767. This is 2 to the power 32. If you calculate the value of 2 to the power 32, it will give you 32767. Or maybe 2 to the power 16, I don't know. Okay, but it can be 2 to the power 16 or 2 to the power 32. Just calculate it. Yes, it is 2 to the power 16 because this value is 65376, I think. What is the pseudo randomness of any number? Pseudo randomness of any number is we know that we need to use certain number randomly. So how do you use? If you are using simple random function, then it will generate any random number from 0 to 32767. But pseudo random will generate the sequence. Okay, it's present the sequence of random numbers and same sequence for every function call. Same sequence for every function call. Now come to another parameter, that is scaling. Scaling to get random number between 1 to n. Okay. Pseudo randomness is every time one seed value is there, and based on this seed value, I think this also discussed.
No, sir. I think
No. Okay, fine. So be careful. Why we are using a random number? Okay. So this is very important. Either the person of mechanical engineering or any other branch, regardless of anything, if you want to test particular algorithm, okay. If you want to test particular solution algorithm, so you can check with certain values, but each and every time you need to maintain the value log. So better to obtain such a number which will always come in the same sequence. So suppose you have developed with algorithm 1, okay, algo 1 is there, algo 2 is there, algo 3 is there. Okay, so same set of number will be transferred to this algorithm, same set of number will transfer to this algorithm and this algorithm. So better to write by manual typing. We just pick a seed value, and on the basis of this seed value, each and every time the same set of random number will be generated here, here also, and here also. So after a result, okay. So what is the result will be there? Result will be in terms of time. Okay, because each and everything and accuracy. What is the accuracy? What is the accuracy and what is the accuracy? Like a vaccination test is there. So these tests are performed randomly, and on the basis of this random test, what is the output? So same set of random numbers are there. So output is also means output can be benchmarked. Benchmarked means standard. Okay, if you want to means if you have tested in same set of numbers, then it will give you correct answer, and you can pick any algorithm. Suppose this is very fast and the efficiency is also 98-99%. Here suppose this take 5 seconds and the efficiency is 97%. This takes 0.3 second and efficiency is 99%, and this takes 0.3 second but the efficiency is 98%. So we choose this algorithm, obviously. Even this is 0.6 also, then also we will choose this algorithm. So this will be decided by the same set of number. That is why we are using random number. Okay, so random number is very, very important in cryptography. Cryptography, fine, and machine learning. Okay, uh, like in means chemistry also there are varieties of uses. In mathematics person cannot survive without any randomness. Okay, so they need to use randomness always. So to get a random number between 1 to n, what will be the style? So you can simply calculate random mod n. Random mod n, random will generate certain random number, and mod n will always produce number from 0 to n. Now, if we add this to 1, then it will always produce the number from 0 to n. Any number, any what values? minus 1. Okay, if we add 1 to this number and to this number, so what will be produced? 1 to n. So this will truly randomness in number. Fine. So that is the concept which we use, and we will generate the random number from 1 to n only. So sometimes, and this is also known as pseudo randomness. Okay. Another kind of pseudo randomness where the same sort of numbers, means same limited range of numbers are generated. So random mod n returns the number between 0 to n minus 1 and add 1 to make random number from 1 to n. Okay. So like in this particular style, we can generate the number from 1 to 6. Now 1 to 6 is coming. So how 1 to 6 is related? This is related with dice. Okay. Dice of what? Dice of Ludo. Have you seen Ludo movie? Anyone?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
If
Sir,
you
अभी
have
तक तो नहीं
seen,
देखी.
if you have seen Ludo movie, so whatever places are there from that particular place, I belongs to. I am from Bhilai. Okay. So now come to SRAND. SRAND is seeded random number. Seeded random number. Fine. So this function is also coming under standard library.h, means whatever like random and seeded random. So this takes an integer seed, and if anyone is having idea about Python and machine learning, then they use seed. Okay, they use seed. So similar seed we will use here. Instead of writing seed, we are writing srand. Okay, so this is nothing but a seed value. Seed value means a particular value. Suppose I had chosen 500 seed. Okay, so this number, the equation will be formulated according to that, and whenever I am using 500, so same set of random number will be generated. It takes an integer seed and jumps to that location in random sequence, and it will start writing the random sequence from that particular place. Okay, so this is the beauty of SRAND, and this SRAND will be used for testing different algorithms and different products. So here SRAND will be taken as time null. Whatever value will be written by this load, it is loaded from time, and it will generate. It will return the time at which the program was compiled in second and randomizes the seed. Okay. So sometimes we need to calculate the time. Already discussed that what is the time complexity? How do you measure? You need not to use the what you can say stopwatch. Okay, you can directly use these functions. Now come to a function which is for checking what is the ruling of dice. Okay, this is very simple function. Include stdlib.h. So this will give you srand. This will use for srand function. Okay. Now stdio.h is used for printf, scanf, etc. Now come to integer I and unsigned seed. Why unsigned? Because we are very much interested in positive values only. We are not interested in negative value, because if we are checking the dias, so we are having 6 faces, and each faces is with particular weight like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So for this purpose, actually we are going to prepare a game, okay, using this. Printf enter seed, %u, %u is for unsigned. It is for unsigned. Okay. Now the value of seed, suppose you have entered 500 or 600, we will see the output, and it will randomize the seed with that particular value. Now come from for I equals to 1, I is less than or equals to 10, I plus plus means 10 iterations will be there. Printf %10d, %10d. Let us see what is the output. What is %10? Anyone? This is a space from left to right or right to left. This is format specifier, you know very well. Nobody is having any answer. Just try to read the second unit slide where format specifier is the last slide. So just try to understand that it is from right to left. Okay. Now
Right
come to
to
1
left,
plus. Yes. Yes. You want to say something? No. Fine. So printf for I equals to this and random, whatever random number is there, and mod 6. Okay. So mod 6 will always produce because 1 is added. So always produce, this will produce the number from 0 to not 0, 1 to 6. Okay. Because we are not interested in 0 and there is no phase which is having 0 marks. If I mod 5 equals to 0 means the value of I for dias number 5 means round number 5. Total 10 rounds are there. So round number 5 and round number 10 is 0. Then it will print from new line. Otherwise, it will run similar pattern. Okay. So yes. What is the meaning of this? It will print the sequence of number like 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as soon as 5 will come, automatically it will break the line and it will start printing from here. So let us see the output. Here you can see that seed is 67 and seed is 67. So both the seed is having 6, 1, 4, 6, 2. This is the sequence and 6, 1, 4, 6, 2 is the sequence. Now the output 1, 6, 1, 6, 4 and 1, 6, 1, 6, 4. Okay. So actually output is from two lines. So what we have written %tan d. %tan d. So meaning of %tan d is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 spaces are there. Okay. After means the value of I varies from which place 1 to 10. So there will be 5. Okay. There will be 5 and there will be 10. So for 5, if we calculate the 5 mod 5, it will give you 0. So whenever this value will come, slash n will appear. So here 5 mod 5 will coming and slash n will be coming. So that's why new line. And that's why this is the formatted output and this beautifies your output. So got it or not? And you can see that for seed value, what I had explained that whenever seed value is same, the randomness of number is also same. Okay. So that's why we are using seed and we will test it from it with any algorithm and it will give us the benchmark result. So this is the randomness. Now, this is the example. Just try to understand the example. Here we have rule and this is scrap simulator. We need to roll the two dice. Okay. 7 or 11 on first throw, player wins. If we roll the dice and in first throw, either means 7. Addition of two dice will be 7. There are several possibilities and 11. So what are the possibilities for 11? 6, 5. Any other possibility? 5, 6. Only two possibilities are there. And for 7, 3, 4, 5, 2, 6, 1. And we can roll the dice. There is no meaning of rolling. Means 6, 5 and 5, 6 are the same thing. Any other combination? So for these, yes.
Sir, there is no other combination. Okay.
No combination, only these combinations are there. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now second is so you can see that we need to generate the random numbers. Okay. We need to generate the random numbers. On the basis of this random number, whenever you are designing a game, you are exclusively using the randomness of thing. Like cricket, you are using the cricket game. Okay. So what is the use of pressing down arrow, up arrow, enter? Okay. So at particular moment, you saw that as rand and bracket, in bracket we pass the time value. Yes or no? So whenever we are passing time value, so on particular time, what will be the impact of that? On the basis of this, ball will be thrown. So likewise, this is very simplest game. Whenever 2, 3 or 12 will be coming as addition on first row, the player loses. So this is about first row. Now remaining throws 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 value becomes player's point. So we will calculate the player's point. Player must roll his point before rolling 7 to win. Okay, just read this statement carefully, and if you have any doubt, you can ask. Actually, this is not doubtful thing. Just give me a minute. Now let us write it in programming terms. So you have idea that we need to use two random throws. Okay, two random numbers because we are having two dice. Fine. Now come here. This is our problem. It is written. And we need to add the numbers together to find the value of summation. So here we started time simulator. We started time simulator, and this is game status. Okay, and this is comma and comma sum and my point. These are the values written here, and our function is roll dice. Okay, roll dice is there, and we will define there. So we have declared switches. We have declared switches, and the sum equals to roll dice function will be there. Fine. So on the basis of this switching, because we call srand time null, this is first roll of dice, and sum equals to roll dice. Then switch sum, whatever value, whatever integer value. So this may be not 0. This may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. No. It cannot be 1 because we are adding the two dice now. So it can be any number. Erase this. It can be any number from 2 because 1 and 1, this is our least number, 1 and 1. Okay, and the maximum number is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. So 2 to 12. Any number can become. So case 7 and case 11. If you're writing multiple cases, so case without comma followed by next case, and the colon is there. Okay, it shows the case, and this is numerical value. That's why it shows the numerical value. So now it come to game status equals to 1. We have put 1 for winner. Now case 2, 3 and 12. Case 2, 3 and 12. Here it is written 2, 3 and 12 for lose. So game status equals to 2. And then break. And what is the default? game status equals to, initially game status equals to 0. It means unfinished. It means win, lose, and unfinished. Okay, so my point equals to sum. So whatever point is coming now, if the value is not 2, not 3, not 12 or 7 or 11, then suppose the value is 5. So 5 is added here. Okay, and my point is 5. Now break and it will again start doing the same thing. So while game status equals to 0, if the game status equals to 0 means unfinished, then it will start some roll dice. Okay, and after that again it will start calculating the point game status equals to 1, sum equals to my point, whatever point is there, and game status equals to 2 if the sum equals to 7. Fine. So lose by ruling. So this rules are given here. These are my points. And when in second, what will be the value? So if sum is 7, then game status will be losing. If game status equals to 1, then player wins. If it is not 1, then player loses. So this will come after certain iteration. Okay. Now, what is our function? Function is very simple, very simple. It will not take any value. Yes, we are not interested to take any value. And but it will return this whatever value of rolling the dice will come. Now die 1 and die 2 and work sum will be there. So die 1 is your dice number 1 and die 2 is there. So 1 plus random mod 6 and 1 plus random mod 6. So this will not give you both the numbers are not same. Okay, they are different because we are not using any seed value here. Now work sum will be the addition of these two, and printf player roll this plus this equals to this, means it will give you the answer as like this: player roll 6 plus 5 equals to 11. Okay, so player wins because it is in first turn. Fine. So any doubt related with any function, just ask me whenever you are feel that this place is not, you are not able to understand. So if no doubt, then there are 5 to 6 outputs. Okay, so first game is over in very small iteration. First game is over in very small iteration because player rolled 6 plus 6 is 12 and player loses. Now player roll first dice as 4 plus 6 equals to 10. So point is 10. Now player roll 2 plus 4 equals to 6. Okay, then 6 plus 5 equals to 11 and so on. Finally, player wins because 10 points, whatever definition is given. So player wins. Player is coming under one category while loop is running. For this purpose, from this to this, while is working. And for this case, okay, case for one and remaining other will be under while. Now here in second, 1 plus 3 point is 4 because 7 and 11 is not coming in first round. Now it will run so many times and after one particular iteration, player loses. The maximum iteration, 16 iteration we have seen, and the output is very special, like 10, 5, 8, 5, 9, 9, 7 is not coming. Okay, 7 is not there. And when 7 is coming, the player loses the game. Otherwise, it will win. For 10, player is winning. Okay. For point number 10, player is winning. And for 7, player is losing. So this is the way you can run the program. So any doubt related with this program? This is very small function. Dice function is very small. Okay. And here, player must roll his point before rolling 7 to win. Okay. But in first case, if initially in this initial stage, if 7 is coming or 11 is coming, then he will win or she will win. But in second onwards, if the point is 7, then the person will lose the game. Okay. Now come to storage classes. Storage class, you are having idea about storage classes. So what are the storage classes available? Anyone? Yes. Just tell me name of storage classes available. Interactivity is very important. Otherwise, there is no meaning of unidirectional. It is like pravachan, na? Whatever I am saying, you are just handfold way. You are just listening because God is coming, God is giving some speech and you are listening to it, but you don't understand what is going on. So this is not good thing. So there are 4 different storage class, you know. Okay. These 4 storage classes are, what are those classes? 2 classes are there in this screen itself. Yes or no? So these 4 classes are auto, register, then global.
External static.
Good. And then last one is stack. Okay. So auto and registers behave like very same. Auto is stored at stack value. Okay, stack segment. This is in register. Which register? CPU register. Okay. So in a stack segment and in CPU register, the value is garbage initially. Okay. And both static and external will store at data segment. And the initial value is 0. If you are not initializing it, it will automatically become 0. So storage class specifiers are very important because we are going to explain the functions, how different storage class will affect particular output. So storage class specifier is here for storage duration and its scope, means life cycle, scope, and linkage specifies the file. Like 2 files are there, okay, or multiple files are there. So if we use external keyword, then we can use the same variable at different places by using. So this will give you the file scope. Automatic storage, object is created and destroyed within the block. So suppose this is our block and integer I is equals to 1 and this is integer I equals to integer I equals to 5. So whenever I am printing I, so this will always print 1. And if I am going out of this scope and if I write print I, then it will give me 5. Okay, because its scope is global. And if it is not there, then it will print 5. Okay, so this is scoping of variable. This is known as scoping of variable. So be careful which will be scoped by the program. So let us describe all these things. Before that, we need to understand what are the variable. So register, it is accommodated in CPU registers. Okay, the variables are accommodated at CPU registers, and that's why the speed is very fast because whatever CPU means, CPU is combination of arithmetic and logical unit. Okay, so arithmetic and logical unit will directly fetches to register. Okay, and that's why the calculation is very fast. and it gives the result faster. While auto is in RAM, auto is in, so ALU, different levels are there like registers and cache, and after that RAM is coming. Okay, so from RAM, three hierarchies it needs to pass, and after that it will calculate the result. So that's why it is slower and it is faster. Okay, if we are using register keyword, it is fast, and if we are using auto keyword, then it is bit slower. But because we are using SSD technology, and with SSD technology, you can see that the speed of SSD invocation is 1.8 gigahertz, 2.8 gigahertz, very similar to your register's frequency. You know what is the meaning of gigahertz? Anyone? Or hertz? What is the
So
meaning of
frequency.
yes? What is the meaning of 50 hertz frequency? Very simple example is there. Suppose a person is there who is very good drum artist. Okay, so a person who places his stick or her stick 50 times in a second. Okay, to that surface of drum. Okay, so this will become the frequency. Similarly, if we are calculating, if we are fetching, if we are using, if we are invoking any variable, so within a fraction of time, it will be come to you. Now, the opposite, reverse is the case. Gigahertz is the frequency. So whenever you are thinking about that particular variable and then just write the variable name, it will automatically fetch this value in microsecond or nanosecond of that time. Okay, so here in within nanosecond it will fetch the value if the frequency is gigahertz. Yes or no? So that's why uh, nowadays when you are using arithmetic register variable or auto variable, there is no very major difference between the speed. But at earlier time, because wirings are there, copper wirings are there, the frequency is also 400 megahertz or 200 megahertz. This is not enough to use um, text to speech or speech to text sort of program. So that time it matters a lot. But nowadays there is no meaning of using register variable. Static storage means whenever we are declaring any static value, it will automatically retain. It is not automatically written. It retains the current value. So a static variable exists for entire program execution. Default value of this is 0, and static local variable defined in function uh, keep value after function ends only known in their own function. Okay, so actually external and static both are working as static storage. So what is the difference between these two? So in case of static, its scope is local, while extern, its scope is global. Okay, that's it. Now come to very simple program. Scope rules, file scope means multiple files are there, identifier defined outside function known in all function. We have already seen one program for that. Use for global variable function definition and function prototype. So these are the scope rules and function scope like in sum. Sum is there, integer x and integer y. So this integer x and integer y is local to this sum function. Okay, this integer x and this integer y is local to this sum function. So we will see later on. Block scope means a particular block, like for I equals to 0, I is less than or equals to 10, I plus plus. Integer I, if integer I is written, then there is different meaning of this I. So we will see in example. Other blocks hidden from inner blocks. If there is a variable within the same name, So just try to understand wherever your domain is there. Suppose I is declared here. Okay. I is also declared here. And I is also declared here. I equals to 254. So if it is not declared here, if local variable is, then 254 is accessible here. If it is declared, then only 10 will be printed. Here only 9 will be printed. So this is the scoping. Means this is our scope, this is inner scope, and this is more innermost scope. Okay, so this is the scoping. So this is the function. And I'm not showing this example, I'm showing the whole example here. Just try to understand. These are the prototypes. First 5, 6, and 7 lines is it is just prototype. Let me delete the annotations here from here. So don't go on the size of program. The program is written very simply and there is no meaning because we have used function 1, function 2, and function 3. And if you want to pass void, it is your wish. If you are not writing anything, it will automatically understand that this is void. Okay, so I had erased from this place. So this is actual function prototype. Function prototype is declared before it is defined. Okay, to understand the main program that somewhere else we have defined this function. This is our global variable because it is right beyond any function boundary and any other thing. So this is our global variable and it is accessible to all. Fine. Now come to integer x. Integer x is written in this scope and printf local x in outer scope. So this is outer scope. Now another scoping is given here and this is inner scoping. Here integer x equals to 7 is written. So this will print 7. Sorry. This will print 5. Okay. Now printf local x. Okay. Now what is local x? So this is out of this scope. So it will also print 5. Fine. Now some other things are written A, B, C, A, B, C. Fine. So this is written and this I need to erase also. Okay. Now another after calling these functions, I will take 5 more minutes. After calling these functions, another printf is there and it is also in outer scope. Okay, so this will also print 5 and from this to this something will be printed. So what is the value of a? What is the declaration of function a? What is the definition of function a? So declaration is there and definition is here. Now we can see that initial value is x. X initial value is 25. So it will print 25. This first will print 25 and because plus plus x is written, it will increment first, then print the value. So this will become 26. So it will print 26. Okay. So function a will print 25 and 26. 25 and 26. Now, because it is using which value? It is using local value. Okay. And there is no keyword. So it is automatically auto keyword. Now come to this scope. Here static is written. What is written? Static. Now what is the meaning of static? Let us see by using this example. X equals to 50. This will print 50. Now plus plus x will increment this value to 51 and this will print 51. Okay. So here it will print 50 and 51. Now come to C. So C has no integer x. So this will pick this value. This is given here. So it will print it will print, initially it will print 1 and x multiplied by or equals to 10. So this will print, actually this is multiplied by 10. So now first will print 1 and 10. Now second A will be executed. Second A uses only automatic variable, only automatic variable. So it will all print 25 and 26. Okay, now come to B. Definition of B is static. Its scope is a static variable. Okay, but local static. So previous value was, the previous value of X was 51. Now it will print 51. Okay, and this will incremented by 1. So this will become 52 and it will print 52. So in second iteration, it will print 51 and 52. Now come to C. What is the value of C? Now the value of X is, because it is global variable, now its value is 10. So it will print 10 and this will print 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. So the answer here is 10 and 100. So this is the scoping. Now I think you will be able to understand what is the value. Let us now see the final output. So this will be the final output. Here you can see that 25, 26. Initially it will start printing 575. Okay, this 5, if we go line by line, so 575. So it will print at 575. Now come to 25 and 26. Next value is 25 and 26. Now next value is 50 and 51. So next value is 50 and 51. Now next value is 1 and 10. So next value is 1 and 10. Now come to next value. This is 25 and 26 once again. So 25 and 26 once again. Now come to 51 and 52. So here 51 and 52 is given. Now next value is 10 and 100. So next value is 10 and 100, global static value. The extern is like a global static value. And finally this printf will come and it will print 5. So this gives the 5. So I think this example is very, very clear to all of you that how do you use local variable, static variable and external variable. Okay, although we have not used external keyword. Why we have not used external keyword here? Because its scope is inside that file and we are invoking if any other file. Okay, if any other file is there and this file uses x equals to 1. So we need to write, instead of writing this, we can write extern x. So this will also work if file scoping will place. Okay, so suppose this file name is sum.c. Okay, so sum.c will automatically fetch for this extern x. It will check in current directory how many different files are there and any file is having the global variable x or not. So this will be declared as integer x equals to 1. Then also it will work. Fine. So up to this, I think this is sufficient because we have explained two different examples and tomorrow we will see the recursion, and it is highly expected from all of you that please read the portion of recursion given in your book. Okay, because in recursion you have already heard, you have already seen that there is a base condition and other conditions also. So on the basis of base condition, you can execute certain thing. And if you know the base condition, then you can call function inside a function. You cannot define function inside function, but you can call the function inside function. That is the beauty of recursion. And it is also very, very important in what you can say in future classes of IT and CS. Okay, all other they can enjoy recursion, they can use recursion, but whenever they are going to simulate their problem, so they need to write the time complexity and space complexity of the problem. That's why this is very, very important. So you just need to understand the recursion. The same problem can be solvable by for loop also. But without for loop also you can solve some problems. Okay, so you can also say that all for loop problems, no, all recursion problem can be solvable by for loop, but some of the for loop problems can be solvable by recursion. Okay, so any doubt related with today's class? Sorry. Yes.
No, sir.
No doubt.
No,
So
sir.
just watch the video. Yes, thank you very much. So just watch the video if you have any doubt. Okay. And this example is not intended for your main examination or any other examination. This example is to show, to elaborate the use of different variables and functions. Okay. So that's why you cannot blame that to you. You need to understand like a Dias problem is written. Okay. So this type of problem can be written like this is your problem. This is your problem, crab simulator. Rules are given. So on the basis of this, you need to write a program. So you need to use your own algorithm, and on the basis of this algorithm, you can show the output. So with this, we finish today's lecture, and tomorrow we will try to elaborate more on recursion, and maybe one more lecture will require for recursion, or tomorrow I will complete the recursion. Okay. So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a nice time.